Bonjour à vous tous. Bonjour Monsieur Antoine Magre, adhérent du Leclerc de Ville-Lagrand. Bonjour Monsieur le Président de Nous, Vous. Bonjour Ewan. Voilà, nous sommes très heureux de vous accueillir aujourd'hui pour parler de cette nouvelle technologie Novum. Et c'est aujourd'hui en fait l'inauguration du showroom européen de la technologie Novum que nous appelons LEAP. Et nous avons le plaisir d'avoir avec nous une présentation de cette nouvelle technologie, les avantages que ça peut apporter sur le marché et la révolution en termes de technologie que l'on peut avoir dans la grande distribution alimentaire. C'est-à-dire qu'aujourd'hui, grâce à cette technologie, nous sommes en mesure d'apporter une alternative très crédible sur le plan technologique vis-à-vis des centrales de froid. Voilà. Je passe la parole maintenant à Monsieur Jim Grimm, le président de Novo.
We have a very clear mission to make a difference to retailers, and it reads like this: to be dedicated refrigeration partners. We focus in on partnerships. We've had long partnerships with a lot of retailers around Europe and now in the USA and Canada and elsewhere. So to be the only viable, sustainable, scalable alternative to modern day CO2 systems and outdated HFC systems. And I think we coined this maybe 18 months ago, and I think it's working out very well. So that's our mission in life, that's our purpose. So a little bit about Novum. We've been in France a long time. We've had a great relationship with Picard in particular, Terrier, smaller outlet. The French partnership it's in its 43rd year, 1981. We started trading with Picard. And they've been a very good company to deal with, and they have very high standards in refrigeration. So they have pushed us, challenged us into new places, into innovation that we're very proud of. One of the biggest ones, the biggest innovation, biggest challenge came in 2010 to develop a new refrigeration system. So that's where we get the term leap. We're leaping from traditional refrigeration systems into something very different, innovative and new. And that collaboration with Picard has led us to developing LEAP technology. So we've had a number of innovations with these. This is a sort of a good example of a partnership where they're changing their stores, their whole concepts back in 2018. And they came to Owen and myself in April, I think that year, and said, we want something like this. And we want it in about 2 months' time. So, and they demanded it and they got it. Okay, so we started rolling that out in late 2018. So that saved them an awful lot of money. All this, cabinets were coming finished like this from the factory. So that was back then. So today in France, just to give you a bit of a picture of it, small format stores, you see the type of cabinets we're using back then. So we have over 1,100 locations with Picard in France. We estimate, and I think it's a fairly accurate one, it might be a bit under, I don't know, at least 200,000 freezers we have supplied to Picard over the years. And so Panama, what you're going to hear a good bit about this afternoon, we've about 500 of those cabinets with Picard stores. Smaller scale, a lot smaller scale than you'll see later in the afternoon, but they're out there and they're well tested and working very well. Okay, on. So making progress. These are the brands that we're with at the moment, thanks to our partners here in Eficop, which is Novum France. And we're very pleased and honoured to be working with a great outfit. And I was very glad to hear the compliments Anton paid Eficop, Lionel in particular, is dealing directly with them, how well they're treating yourself there. So it's very important to us. Okay. So there's a bit going on here in refrigeration. We're at a very exciting time. We're at a jump-off point. This is not going to happen again for years. So refrigeration systems throughout the world are being challenged and changed, largely for environmental purposes. So just with an environmental goal. And I think that's fine. But there's you got to think of your business goals as well. So there's two goals, I believe, that you should be looking at when you're looking at refrigeration of the future. Not just the environmental requirements and be within the legislation, but also how are you going to future-proof your business going into future generations and avail of the opportunity to do something really different. And that's what you're seeing here in France with Monsieur Magre. They took that leap into something different. And so the advent of Panama Green here is gives us this jump-off point as far as Novum is concerned. So we've changed a lot to become a large format solution to large format stores. So the size of stores that we're dealing with, be it in France or the US or UK or Ireland, wherever it is, has changed an awful lot. You see the scale of it. So with this, you're seeing now nobody else can touch us in terms of competition, having that ability to put in huge installations, viable, scalable alternatives to modern day CO2 systems, which is a bit of a challenge. So the one that we'll come to in a few minutes, if you look at the business goals, I think this is very important for retailers. Retailers are very clever people. We're talking here about people who fully owned, family-owned businesses. So decisions that they're making is critical to their future. And so the environmental goals, we're obviously R290 propane solution. That box is ticked. The business goals that most retailers have, what are they? To reduce operating costs, have something reliable, something that'll work, something that's flexible. You're not stuck with something that's piped in for years. You can move stuff around, you can add to it, take away from it, you can upgrade it, you can install it overnight, you can have minimum service to this technology. So the future-proofing concept, I think is a huge differentiator for what we're doing. And in a way, it's like Brexit that had the slogan years ago. We're all familiar with Brexit in this part of the world. Yeah. So they coined the term take back control, and take back it started with taking control, and then they put in one word in the middle of it, take back control. Okay. So I think retailers have the opportunity with Novum Leap solution to take back a lot of control. It's within your control, and I think that has to be good. Monsieur Magre is certainly exceptional. We haven't had this before, where somebody is moving to Leap technology from a CO2 system, which is, that's taken it to another level. That's the first store in the world that we have, and we're so proud of that. And really, thank you for the business and the opportunity. And I'm going to hand you over now to Owen Lennon, who is going to tell you a little bit more, share a bit more about the technology, and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Welcome everybody to Euroshow Showroom Grand Opening Webinar 2022 from Novum in association with Monsieur Magre and Ile Leclerc Le Grand Ville, or Ville Le Grand. So consider first the current incumbent traditional refrigeration solutions for large retail stores. Always been HFC or lately CO2 remote systems. It's the default solution for all large-scale traditional stores. And that's been the thinking, has been ingrained for decades. So we're proposing an alternative to that in a self-contained solution, which takes quite a bit of consideration. And we believe rethink cold. So with your traditional systems, it can be expensive. You've got miles of piping throughout the store, up to the roof for condensers, down to from the plant room down to the shop floor and all around to all the different cases. miles of piping, all multiple joints has to be done with skilled technicians. You've got miles of cabling and control panels to be put in and wired in throughout the whole building. Again, from the plant room to the floor, from the plant room up to the rooftop for the condensers. You've got miles of trenching in the floors to be done. This all causes a lot of disruption, takes a lot of time, a lot of skilled labour. You've got your big complex racks to be put in, heavy big condensers out on the roof. A lot of times they'll need cranes and whatever to put them in. So it's a huge project installing any new CO2 or HFC system. You need a lot of very skilled technicians, particularly with CO2. Systems are getting so complex. A lot of integration, both on the software side as well as the actual physical hardware of the systems. And to set all that up and tune it can take quite a while, even after the installation, the initial installation. So if you consider the service and maintenance side of remote systems as well, you need skilled labour. If you get a breakdown, you can lose potentially entire rows of refrigerated lineups, leaving you with empty shelves. You could lose the entire system. One gas leak on a CO2 system, you could lose the entire rack, the entire pack, low and high temp. So first thing you got to do is call a service technician. When one's available, wait for him to arrive on site, try and diagnose what's wrong. He may have to go to a refrigeration distributors to try and source parts. Parts may not be in stock, so you have to wait for the parts to be delivered and the service technician to come back, carry out the repairs, and hopefully get you back up and running. So we believe it's time to rethink cold with Nous, in France. So we'll talk here a bit about the development, what led us to our leap technology. Back in 2010, as Jim mentioned earlier, our customer in France, Picard, asked us to come up with an automatic defrost system for the traditional cold wall chest freezers that we were supplying them. And we went down the route of looking at hot gas defrost and whatever on them. And we realised that there was a lot of issues around using that. One, you're adding a lot of heat to the case. Two, it's taking a lot of time, a lot of energy to melt all the ice inside the food chamber with the food. So you're not only where you defrost melting the ice, you're also thawing out the product. And all the air within the case was getting warmed up. And you were getting mist rising off the condensate, misting up the glass, all those sort of issues. Then, when the defrost itself is complete, you had a huge energy input trying to recover all the air temp and the product temperatures. Could take days in some cases to pull all the product back down to temperature. That combined with the input energy for the defrost had a huge energy implication with having a defrost in a cold wall case. And that got us thinking, and we realised there must be a better way of doing this. We said, well, what if we remove the evaporator from the food chamber, put it in its own remote housing away from the food? Therefore, we could heat the evaporator coil much quicker, much more thoroughly, much faster, without impacting the case temperature or the case product temperatures. We got a fast defrost and no recovery time after the defrost. That also had the implication that our food temperatures stayed stable throughout the defrost. We didn't have a spike in the product every few hours. So that gave us the other opportunity then came with that. If we've got the evaporator now removed from the cold wall, we could build it all into one self-contained complete refrigeration system on a cassette. So compressor, condenser, evaporator, all on one tray, sealed. We could go to R290 and solve the issues with the service industry had around adopting to flammable refrigerants. You simply exchange the cassette. It's a factory-made cassette, hermetically sealed, little or no leaks. Tiny amount of refrigerant required, because it's such a compact system. So that was where we came from. That was back in 2010. First stores started rolling out in 2012. As Jim said, the full adoption then with Pickard since then. And virtually every customer we have has adopted the same technology now. So then when we started thinking about how to scale up and how to tackle large supermarkets, not just chest freezers, but full upright cases, we started to develop the Panama and Panama Green cases. And we had a clean sheet of paper. One of the few opportunities in life as a designer where you have a blank sheet of paper to start with. And having 35 years of experience in refrigeration as a service engineer myself, we were able to look at all the different issues around self-contained and remote upright cases. A third of the total energy we discovered on most cases was in the door frame and the door frame heating. So we tackled that with a patented door frame system and fully passive doors. We also listened to not customers of ours, but people who were remote system users as to why they wouldn't adopt self-contains in their stores. They all mentioned noise from self-contains, heat rejection, energy use. They were all seen as negatives with self-contained. So we set out to tackle every one of those. So we went with a unique system on the Panama with the cassettes. I'll just do a quick demo here of change out, how quickly you can change in our Grand Cayman case, as in the Grand Ville, how quickly you can change out the entire refrigeration system. There's a little challenge we did. Myself in the middle, and 4 of our guys from the factory. This is speeded up slightly. We'll remove the grill, slide out the unit. All connections are quick release, plug in. My excuse, I got snagged on the last screw. So, 4 minutes to change out the entire refrigeration system on that chest freezer. That's the large Grand Cayman cases. So, as I said, time to rethink cold at Nauve, France. Oh, here's another video, if I can get it to play. There we go. So just to show you as a viable alternative to all this, remove the requirement for low temp compressors. That's the noise in store, up at the compressors, not even down at the shop level.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
So we tackled the energy is so low, we're down to below 6 kilowatt hours per day per door in total, including lighting. On the Panama Slims, it's even less, slightly less than that. As for frozen, it's less than half of that again for chill. Oh, all your other issues with CO2 systems and so on. CO2 alarms if you have a gas leak. There's our Panama cassette unit, complete system. So all these other issues disappear. For our installation, you don't need highly skilled technicians, so you can save yourself a lot of money. So, simple as that. Take it out and plug it in. So our self-contained unit, which we designed in 1 unit per door to give individual control per door, plus being able to utilize smaller size compressors. The smaller the compressor, the higher the efficiency levels go. It's opposite to what most people think, because the compressor manufacturers manufacture millions of the smaller compressors, so they put more of their R&D development time into the smaller compressors, particularly in propane. So combine the high COPs, coefficients of performance, of the smaller compressors. We're able to use smaller condensers, smaller condenser fans. All that means smaller compressors are quieter, condenser fans are smaller, they're quieter. That all leads to the ultra low noise. You don't necessarily have all three on a 3-door case running at the one time. You might only have one or none. So that leads to all the advantages of low noise and low heat rejection. So all our cassette units are propane, or 290. The smallest ones have only 40 grams of refrigerant. The larger, the Grand Cayman and the Panama, have 65 grams per system. Full, hermetically sealed, eco-friendly. So the monobolt's easily replaced. You can keep a spare one in the back of house. So if you do have an issue, you don't need a skilled technician to replace it. You can have somebody local who could do that. General maintenance guy can change one of these in a few minutes. You don't have to demerchandise the case to do it either. It doesn't have to be empty. So if you see an issue, you can change out your cassette and get yourself back running without having to destock the case. So as I said, spare cassette. No service technician required. He has all the parts. That is the complete system. Oh, no leaks, no downtime, no lost sales, and eliminates your maintenance costs. So on the cassette we have the condenser and condenser fan, your evaporator, and your compressor, all on one tray. Your burn-off trays, your condensate, you've no condensate drains, no plumbing, no wiring. So when it comes to the installation, all units come fully crated, ready to go, factory set. No commissioning, just decrate it, line it up, and install it and plug it in. Here's Field de Grande, all the cabinets staged before the installation overnight. So all the cases were done at night time. So there was no loss of sales time on the shop floor. All the installations were done. A single, simple 220-volt plug covers the entire unit, even the 3-door. So remote systems, the installation, as I mentioned earlier, you have all of those issues, your piping, your miles of cabling and control panels, your cranes, crane hire, coordinating all of that. Or with an oven, take them out of the crate, line them up, plug them in. All our cases are also dual temp capable. You can switch them from freezer to chiller, or vice versa. Some of them with a different controller, you can press one button and switch all the control settings in one go, if you wish. Here's a little video showing the ultra-low heat rejection. So we just went around the store with a thermometer to note the 20.7 degrees, the ambient temperature in the store, and even up at the units, up 20.8, 20.9. No massive heat rejection from it. And the same then with the noise. So we can turn this up. We measured the ambient noise throughout the store, and I went down through the aisles of Panama cases, and the ambient noise level was the same, if not actually lower. Most of what you hear is just the ambient background noise of people talking and moving and so on. So, we also designed the Panama to give a seamless, modern look, same as you get with some remote system cases. So, if you lose one compressor on or one gas leak on a Novum system, use 65 grams of propane. If you have one leak on a CO2 rack, you could lose 907 kilograms of charge. That gets expensive. So there's plenty of other French customers already looking at working with Novum France, rethinking cold. That's the CO2 rack up. After the installation, it's now under a lot less load because so much of the load was taken off by replacing quite a considerable portion of the chill with our self-contained. So this could be you. So all of these lineups were changed out at night time when the store was shut. There was no loss of sales, no inconvenience to the store. By 8 o'clock in the morning, all cabinets were lined up, plugged in, pulled down in temperature, and had been re-merchandised, ready for sale the next morning. So you have no low temp parallel rack, you have no low temp condensers. You could change out all your low temp if you wanted to simplify it and just do the low temp, take out your entire low temp cases, put them on ours, and your CO2 system for your chill, or do the whole lot, chill and frozen. No plumbing, no downtime, no panels for defrost, no complex install. Keep it simple. We like to keep it simple. I'm a simple guy. So refrigeration made easy. So that's it for me.